Welcome to the Finely Tuned Infrastructure podcast by Rhythmic Technologies.
Good to be here.
Today we're looking into Rhythmic's recent blog post, Why Infrastructure Design Determines Your Cloud Operations Success.
Yeah, it's a really insightful piece.
Our aim for you today is really to, cut through the noise a bit, pull out the key insights from this article.
And give you some practical stuff you can actually use.
Exactly, practical takeaways. Because Rhythmic starts with, let's say, a pretty blunt truth.
They don't pull punches.
About that.
Huh.
That painful gap between the teams building cloud systems and the teams, keeping them running.
Oh, yeah. The 2 a.m. problem.
You know the drill, right? Something breaks, middle of the night, and ops is stuck troubleshooting architecture decisions someone else made ages ago.
It's a classic scenario, unfortunately. And Rhythmic really hammers home this point, how you design your infrastructure. That fundamentally dictates how you'll operate it.
It's not just about making things neat, is it?
No. It's about predictability. Build messy, undocumented stuff. You get messy, unpredictable operations. Chaos in, chaos out, basically.
But the flip side.
The flip side is the promise. Right?
Yeah.
Design thoughtfully, with operations baked in from the start, and you get, maybe not total calm, but predictability.
And that leads right into this phrase they use, infrastructure archaeology.
I love that term, too. It's so visual.
It really is. So Rhythmic talks about these layers of technical decisions building up. What does that actually mean in practice? Are we talking about like old experiments that stuck around?
Could be that. Or quick fixes that became permanent fixtures.
Right, or maybe a new team brings in their favorite tools, adding another layer.
Exactly. All these separate decisions may be made for good reasons at the time, but they accumulate. And suddenly, operating the system feels less like engineering.
And more like digging through ancient ruins.
Precisely. You're deciphering history instead of managing a coherent system.
So initial setups, quick fixes, new integrations, they all leave their mark.
And what Rhythmic points out, which I think is really sharp, is that the root cause isn't just, technical debt. We all know about that.
Yep.
It's what they call accountability debt.
Accountability debt. Explain that a bit.
Well, when your designers and operators are separate teams, often the design goal becomes a clean handoff, not long-term operational health.
So it works now. It's your problem.
Kinda, yeah. The focus isn't, is this easy to run and maintain for years? It's, did I check the boxes to pass it over? And that creates this void where no one feels fully responsible for the operational consequences of early design choices.
Which leaves Rhythmic asking, implicitly anyway, how do you stop digging? How do you build for the future, not just document the past?
Yeah, how do you break that cycle?
Okay, so this is where Rhythmic's thinking gets really interesting, potentially game-changing. They state pretty boldly that infrastructure as code IAC and change management aren't just related, they're the same thing.
It sounds a bit radical at first, maybe. But when you think it through,
it makes a lot of sense because traditional IT changes, they often feel like surgery, right?
Absolutely. Forms approvals, change advisory boards, scheduled downtime.
Yeah, those dreaded maintenance windows. So how does IAC completely change that picture?
The blog lays it out really clearly. IAC basically takes that old manual high-stakes process and throws it out.
Okay.
Instead, because your infrastructure is code, changes follow standard software development workflows.
Like pull requests.
Exactly. Pull requests, code reviews, automated testing, version control. All the stuff developers already do for applications.
So you apply that rigor to infrastructure changes.
You got it. And the impact is huge. Transparency, trackability, everything's visible. Rhythmic gives the example of using Terraform with Atlantis.
Right.
You want to change something. You submit a pull request.
Yeah.
Atlantis runs Terraform plan automatically right there in the PR comments.
Yeah.
It shows you precisely what will change. Add, modify, destroy.
So everyone can see the impact before it happens?
Exactly. Then, after review and approval, the deployment is controlled, logged. You have a perfect audit trail, that pull request. It becomes your infrastructure control panel.
Wow. So change management stops being this bureaucratic hurdle.
And becomes an engineered, streamlined process. The real insight from Rhythmic here isn't just the automation, it's the cultural shift. Infrastructure becomes a first-class citizen in your engineering pipeline.
Built-in transparency and accountability.
By design.
Okay, but that brings up the classic tension, doesn't it? Developers want autonomy, speed. Operations wants control, stability.
The eternal struggle.
And Rhythmic notes that most places just pick a side, which leads to, friction.
Yeah, finger pointing when things go wrong.
So what's the rhythmic take on finding a balance? How do you let developers move fast and keep things stable?
They offer a really practical, nuanced view. No one-size-fits-all answer here.
Good.
The key idea is different types of infrastructure need different approaches.
Okay, like what?
Well, take deployment infrastructure. Things like serverless tools, container orchestrators, maybe API gateways, the stuff developers use to actually run their apps.
Right, they know their app best.
Exactly.
All right.
So Rhythmic says, let the developers manage that. Give them ownership. It removes bottlenecks, lets them iterate quickly. They understand the application's needs better than anyone.
Makes sense. But what about the core stuff?
Ah, that's the other side. Foundational components, the core network, org-wide security policies, IAM, shared databases, things that affect everyone.
Those need central control.
That's the argument. These things form the backbone, require specialized expertise in security, compliance, large-scale stability. You need a dedicated operations or platform team managing those shared critical resources.
So it's about defining clear boundaries, empower developers for their app infrastructure, centralize the foundational layers.
Precisely. Define the swim lanes clearly.
Let's talk standards. We all know they're needed, but Rhythmic has this great line. They often sound good in meetings and fail spectacularly in practice.
Oh, I felt that one. So true.
So how do we make standards, like resource tagging, actually work? Make them useful, operational, like the blog suggests, because tagging often starts well and then entropy.
It does. Rhythmic gives some really concrete examples of how to turn tagging from just like metadata labels into actual operational infrastructure.
Okay, give us some examples.
So think about tags like cost center and service. That's not just info. That drives cost allocation, chargebacks, makes spending visible.
Right. Finance loves that.
Absolutely. Then you have service, team, owner. Those aren't just labels. They can dynamically route monitoring alerts to the right on-call person. Instant accountability.
Smart. What else?
Tags like schedule or backup policy, these can trigger automation. Shut down non-prod environments overnight based on the schedule tag. Run backups based on the backup policy tag. Reduces manual work.
So the tags become programmatic hooks.
Exactly. Or monitoring responsibility for security and compliance checks. Even tool ownership, which IC Tool manages this resource, helps avoid conflicts.
The key seems to be making them genuinely useful for automation.
That and Rhythmic's other piece of advice. Keep them simple enough to follow. Overly complex standards get ignored. Comprehensive enough to be useful. Simple enough to be adopted.
And they mention naming conventions, too.
Yeah, self-documenting names, like putting owner, environment, service right in the resource name. Makes things intuitive even if you're new to the system. Tags and names working together.
Okay, let's shift to patching. Hundreds of vulnerabilities a month. The old way, server by server, it just doesn't scale.
It's a losing battle, manually.
And Rhythmic connects this back to design. How you design determines how you maintain. So what does designing for automated patch management actually look like?
The main thrust from Rhythmic is a shift away from patching in place.
Okay.
Wherever possible, use automated image building. Build fresh hardened machine images maybe every 30 days with all the latest patches and configs baked in.
So immutable infrastructure.
Pretty much. You test these new images automatically, then deploy them through your standard IAC pipeline, replacing the old instances. You're not fixing the old car, you're getting a new one.
That handles a lot of the churn. But what if you have to patch in place? Legacy systems, maybe?
If you absolutely must, Rhythmic says the design must support rolling updates from day one. Load balancers, proper health checks, graceful shutdowns. It has to be architected for it.
So you can take nodes out, patch them, put them back without downtime.
Exactly. And crucially, given the sheer volume of CVEs, you need automated workflows for vulnerability management. Tools to aggregate, prioritize, track. You can't do that effectively by hand anymore. Your design needs to integrate that security intelligence.
This really leads to the core idea, doesn't it? The feedback loop. Design and operations aren't separate steps.
Not at all. Rhythmic sees them as a continuous cycle. Every production incident is a lesson for design. Every design improvement enables better operations.
Constant learning, constant evolution.
Exactly. And they stress embedding observability deep into the design right from the start, not just basic up-down checks.
What kind of observability?
Granular business metrics, performance baselines, dependency mapping, design systems so they tell you how they're doing, how they're connected.
So you move from reactive firefighting
to proactive engineering.
Yeah.
Your infrastructure warns you before it fails, or when it's behaving abnormally instead of just after it's broken.
That's a huge shift.
It is.
Hmm.
And similarly, designing with APIs first, enforcing consistent interfaces, treating every component like it's programmable, that changes the operations team's role too.
Oh, so?
They move from being system admins clicking buttons to being architects and automation engineers,
Hmm.
building tools, automating responses. It accelerates resilience because every fix potentially becomes an automated engineered solution.
It's a virtuous cycle of improvement.
That's the goal.
Now, Rhythmic is careful to say every organization is different. A startup's world is not an enterprise's world.
Very true. Context matters hugely.
So how do you actually put these ideas into practice effectively, given that variability? It can't be just copy-pasting Rhythmic's advice, right?
Definitely not. Their advice is grounded in reality. Start by understanding your situation. What's your current infrastructure? What tools do you have? What are your team's skills? What does the business actually need?
Build on what you have, not some ideal state.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they push the foundation first, optimization second, idea hard. Nail down the basics. Identity, networking, change management. Get those solid before you chase fancy optimizations.
Makes sense. Build a strong base.
And the benefits Rhythmic outlines when you get this alignment right, they go beyond just tech.
Like what?
Safer, faster changes mean faster product development. Code-driven ops means fewer outages, fewer security issues, better resource use, often cost savings.
And happier engineers.
Yeah, engineers, like understandable, predictable infrastructure,
Hmm.
better morale, better retention, and maybe the biggest one, unified responsibility, no more finger pointing.
Just collective ownership.
Right, solving problems together.
So the journey isn't about hitting perfection on day one.
Not at all. It's about building systems that can adapt, that learn, that are set up to improve continuously over time.
Ultimately, the message from Rhythmic in this blog post seems really clear. The future belongs to organizations that really connect their infrastructure design with their operational realities and goals.
It's becoming essential for staying competitive and resilient.
The question isn't whether to do it, it's more about how quickly you can make that alignment happen in your own context.
Finding your path to that integration.
Well, that's our look at Rhythmic's thinking on design and operations. This content, by the way, was generated with some help from AI. For the original article itself, you can head over to rhythmictech.com.